Like, that's their business model. That's what they want to do. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. Like, that's the beauty of this, right? You can do whatever you want. It's your business. You can set, I mean, there are process and policies that LuLaRoe gives. They're really not anything to worry about. Like, it's kind of no brainer, common sense type stuff. But like, as long as you keep that stuff in mind, this is your business. You can run it pretty much however you want. If you wanted to do only online sales, there are people in the top 100 that only sell online. I mean, that just works for them. You have to figure out what works for you.
And I think I want to step back too about the your support. If you're married or you have a spouse or you have someone who you live with, they I really believe that if you don't have their support, it won't work.
Yeah, it will be difficult.
Mm-hmm.
I would say that it can work. I think you have to be a very strong individual with lots of energy and lots of
Well,
motivation and
I'm not talking about that because it does take time away from.
right.
Yeah, then
I
they need
mean,
to understand that.
they need to know the time
Mm-hmm.
commitment. Like, you're going to be spending time away from your family
Mm-hmm.
uh, selling LuLaRoe.
Mm-hmm.
And so if they're not on board with that, then that's a decision you need to have
Mm-hmm.
before
A
you
conversation.
or yeah, a conversation you need to have before you go trying to figure out how much it's going to cost to get
Mm-hmm.
into it.
That's the biggest thing.
Like that's where this should all start.
Yeah, money is secondary. Like that's easy. It's easy to come up with the money. I know it sounds that's easy to say. Trust me, I know. I was there. I know how hard it can be to like think about all that money. But when you think about the return on your investment, like your profit per piece is like averages 50%. So that's crazy profit. Like crazy profit.
Yeah.
Um
Yeah, there are plans where you can pay back your initial investment within 5 months.
Right. And so that leads us into why mine isn't 100% paid off. I only have about $1,000 left to pay on
Well,
it.
you also took out a lot more than your initial investment
Yes,
too.
I
So
took out 8,500. So if I had only taken out the 5,500, I would have been paid off a long time ago. But I took out 85 because I didn't know.
yeah,
Oh, I didn't know what I was gonna do. Oh, I took out a little extra too because I wanted to buy leggings because back then, and they didn't come in your initial, so I wanted to buy leggings afterwards. So I took out a little bit more. Um, but yeah, I mean, I should have had mine paid off, but like I said, we had Joel unexpectedly being laid off. And so I've just been paying my payment. And when I have extra, I pay extra on it to get it paid off, but it should be paid off. I'm hoping in the next 6 months or so.
but that's part of the
Mm-hmm.
conversations and decisions that you make
Mm-hmm.
along the way, right? Like you start with a plan. My
Mm-hmm.
plan is I'm going to find this money,
Mm-hmm.
get it from friends or family or the bank or whatever, and my plan is to pay that back while growing
Right.
my
But
business at the same time.
I wouldn't expect to start paying that back until at least 3 months in.
Right.
Those first 3 months, you should be reinvesting 100% to build your business.
Your inventory.
Your inventory. I mean, not necessarily build it big, but being able to have the things that you need that are going to sell, right? So I would, after every sale that you have, I would order more if you can. And then whatever's extra after that, then by all means do what you want with it. But
it also helps keep people coming back. So
mm-hmm.
if you don't keep renewing your inventory,
why do you shop with me? I mean,
because
ask yourself that.
yeah, you have new inventory all the time. If you're seeing the same 10 Irmas over and over and over and over, people are going to stop shopping with you if they're interested in Irmas. So
Mm-hmm.
you need to keep refreshing that inventory.
But you don't have to always buy inventory. If you have another retailer, you can swap with them. Yeah. It's new eyes, right? So there's lots of little tricks and
that's
ways
once
that
you get in. We can do a different video.
That's different. But anyway, so we just wanted to get in, and I know Alyssa was like, her husband was like,
that's a lot of money.
That's a lot of money,
and it is a lot of money. Like don't think that we're discounting your opinion on that because trust me, when she came to me with that number, I was like, okay, where is that going to come from? Because we don't have a money tree in our backyard. We don't have extra savings. We don't have rich relatives.
No.
We don't have
No.
we don't have a source of
And
like,
I was having a legal battle. All of my money had gone to an attorney. So
yeah. So we were kind of in like the worst possible spot for being able to just like make a snap decision and go do that. But
do you still think it was a good decision?
I do, and I think it's I think that's kind of how life works, right? Like you have opportunities that come along every once in a while, and you may not have you may not have a say in when they come along. They just happen, like it presents itself, and you have to either go down the left fork or go down the right fork. And sometimes taking a risk is exactly what life is about. And this could have gone horrible. This could have been a total nightmare disaster for us. But it didn't. And it's worked out really great for us. I'm really glad we did. We did invest the money, and we did go down that path, because I think it's done really nothing but good for our family. Not just I know Heather's a lot happier. She doesn't look like it right now, but
these are happy tears.
but I know Heather's a lot happier staying at home, and she likes to cook, so she can cook and take care of things, and she can have people over during the day and spend more personal time shopping with them. When before she was kind of doing it part time, and
I still cruise qualified part time.
Yeah, but it was
it was a lot of work.
It was a lot of work, and to be honest, it's hard when you're working full time and you come home and you're exhausted, and then you want to put in a couple more hours of working your part time job, and still like the family needs to be fed, and volleyball and things like that still need to happen. So anyway, the point is, I don't want to trivialize the fact that that's a chunk of change. But the opportunity is definitely there for you to pay that back. Or if you decide that this just doesn't work for you, there are ways to get out of it without a lot of pain. Right? So I don't know. What else did we want to talk about? So that's kind of what got us to here. So we can do other videos on other questions, like once you get onboarded, like what that's kind of like. But that was kind of in response to Alyssa's question, and I hope that answered our question, or answered your question. And if it didn't, please let us know.
I mean, I think the direct answer to that is I didn't need to convince Joel to spend the money after he did the research.
Yeah, I was kind of talked off the ledge, I guess, by doing my own research, like not listening to her Kool-Aid and cheerleading and, oh my God, I love the clothes. I'm okay. I know nothing about the fashion industry. I don't know women's clothing. I don't know how it's sold. I know you go to the mall and you buy clothes, and sometimes they're on sale and sometimes they're not. And so I don't necessarily understand even today how it all works. Like, why do women buy the things that they buy? I don't know. But sometimes the moon is just in alignment. Who knows? But like beyond that, like from a business type standpoint, the business model itself made sense for us. In our case, it made sense that making this small, but it's small now, but making this investment upfront, taking a risk, and then having something that's our own. It's our own business, because like technically you could work this until you can't anymore, and this could be something that you handed to Emmy, right? Like this is a business that you own, that you could hand to our
LuLaRoe
daughter.
isn't going anywhere.
Right.
They are growing, and changing the fashion or the landscape of fashion merchandising and selling. Like, there are companies that are looking at LuLaRoe and how they're doing business and trying to figure out what the hell happened and how are they doing this.
Yeah.
And it wasn't LuLaRoe necessarily that did it. It was the fashion retailers who took it to this level and changed the way that the landscape of fashion retailing. So it's like there's so much out there. Do some research if you want. I don't know if Joel has any good links on YouTube or whatever anymore.
There's a lot of
But
stuff. Well, there's good and bad on YouTube. So just make sure you hear both. Make sure you hear both sides.
Yeah.
Don't if you go and just listen to all the bad, it's skewed. Like there's a lot of people that are that left LuLaRoe that are very bitter and very salty because they feel like they got a bad deal. And it was because their expectations were wrong. They were just flat wrong. Like they understood something that was not true. And that's all. And they just felt like they got cut a bum deal. So it's not, weigh the good with the bad, I guess is my point. It's the same with everything, right? Like,
yeah, we try to stay in our own lane. We run our business the way we want to run our business. We support our girls the best way we can. And, we love the business. We're going back to convention in July. We plan on being on that boat in February and maybe even a leadership at some point later in the year. I'm hoping, because if we cruise qualify, we get invited to leadership, which would be fun. And then, LuLaRoe has so much support that I can't emphasize that enough.
Yeah.
There's a lot. If you choose to utilize the support that's there, I don't think there's any way you can really fail.
We're not going to let you fail. If you join us on this journey, we're not going to let you fail. If you're in it, we'll help you be in it. So we have our own hidden group page that's just for people that are
on our team.
There are lots of other group pages that are just for retailers. That's all about motivating them, coming
Supporting
up with
them.
new ideas.
So amazing.
If you feel like you're tapped out and have run out of ideas, there's so many of those types of groups where you can just go and what are other people doing? How are other people, how are and there's groups where the top 100 sellers are in and they're giving all their advice openly.
You just have to find them.
Here's how I'm selling. This is how I'm making X amount. It's ridiculous numbers.
They retail 80,000. They sell.
That's some of the lower.
80,000 to $100,000 a month. That's how much they sell. They have assistants and they have all this kind of stuff. I want to make 20. My goal right now is to bump us up to 20K a month. That is my goal eventually.
Yeah. We'll get there. Let's not get ridiculous.
It's not ridiculous. We got close one month.
We'll get there. It's just, it just takes time, and you have to be patient, and you have to be willing to put in the time and energy and effort into it. And again, it is what you put into it. It's if you're not 100% committed, then you'll get the percentage that you put in.
Right. So you set your own goals, and that's all.
Right. No one at LuLaRoe has ever encouraged us to make more money. That's the crazy thing. A lot of Amways and Mary Kay's, and they're constantly hounding you. You need to make more sales. You need to increase your sales. Go out and here's all the markets and blah, blah, blah. Our upline, no one has ever told us that we're not making enough money or that we should be making more money or these are the things that you can do to make more money. None of it is about any of that. It's all about your personal goals. Is your personal goal to pay off a bill that you have? Okay, cool. How can we help you make enough money to pay off that bill? You want to pay off your car? Cool. How do we, how are we going to support you to get you the extra money that you need to pay off that car loan or whatever? But there's nothing that says that you have to make 80 or even the top person in the company made $1.25 million in a quarter or something crazy like that. I'm like, how is that even possible? But it's just volume, right?
Yeah,
they're doing crazy volume. They do lives like all day long. It's like they run like their own QVC thing. So it's, the sky's the limit, really. It's just as high as the goals that you want to set for yourself. So that's kind of the point that I want to drive home, is that like, this is all on you. You get your initial inventory. It's all on you. If you want to make more money, make more money. If you don't want to make a ton of money, don't make a ton of money. It's all on you. It's all up to you, and we'll be here to support you through the whole journey.
So that's where we're at.
So if there's any questions at all, post them below on this. We'll be glad to answer them. We can do more videos. There's probably some videos that we'll want to do about like selling or whatnot, but I don't know when or where they're appropriate. So
we'll figure it out.
But
so again,
definitely ask all the questions, because we had a ton of questions, and I wish we would have had somewhere to ask a lot of those. I mean, we had your sponsor or whatever, but before we got invested, I didn't feel like we had a ton of places where we could go and ask questions other than in like weird YouTube chats or something like that. It's just backdoor kind of things. Ask us questions. That's what we're here for.
Anyhow.
Okay, we've been rambling for 45 minutes somehow.
Yeah.
So that's probably long enough. If you made it this far,
congratulations.
I don't know how you did.
You might as well sign up.
Yeah, at this point, you're so invested. But anyway, we'd love to have you on our team.
All right.
And let us know if there's more questions.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.